Okay, so I just started recording. This is a session a little bit different from the previous one. So my idea is to be streaming direct, like on live, being live while I'm coding. But in this session, and I think for the next month, I'm trying to find a way to make this work because I'm out in vacations, so I don't have good internet here where I'm at, and good upload, at least upload internet connection. So that's why I have a different background, I have a different microphone, I have different lights, everything's different right now. But my laptop is the only thing I think it's the only thing that's it's still the same, right, for these vacations. So I'm doing this a little bit different. This is going to be a live session, not a live session, sorry. It's going to be a recorded session, but it's going to be a one-shot recorded session. So I want to I wanted to, so I'm being honest right now, this is not live, I'm not streaming right now. I'm just recording on one session, one long session, as if it was recorded. Sorry, as if it was streamed. But I'm recording it. I have the music sounding right now from my laptop. It's a little bit different from how I do it, from how I usually do it. But there's not going to be any cut in this video, any edition. Like, I'm not going to edit anything. So I'm just going to upload this session. So let's see how this goes. And we're going to be working on the AI generate content platform based on YouTube videos. So let me open in here. Well, let me show in here the the code that I have been working on. So so let me close this, and so here is the code where I left it. Well, I made some changes, and I was like, when I was making them, I thought, well, I really want to continue from where I left this code, so that there's continuity in the videos. So I told myself to leave this, and when I was going to start recording, to continue working on this code. So, on this app. So, for example, let me see if the music I think it's working. So yes. Okay, so here's the code. And so what I was working on in this, I'm just going to make this a little bit. I'm lowering the volume for these songs. I'm going to leave it like that. So I was, this is the changes that I was making. So for example, this is what I had before, like when I left it in the previous session, and this is the new code. So basically I added, I forgot to add this last notification to this code, to the code. And it's the last notification where we are telling the user to that their content has been generated. Okay, so this is the last notification. I forgot to add it in the previous session. And the other thing is that this was made to be a little bit less lines of code, less code lines, to make it a little bit easier to develop. So for example, instead of using true, I'm using directly this. So while this is not true, so this is why I have this exclamation mark in here. So while this is not true, so if this is true, we do the opposite, so it's false. So that's when the loop is, when we get out of the loop. But if this is false, so we don't have this value, and this exclamation mark in JavaScript makes it true. So while this is true, so while this doesn't exist, let's do this. So I'm going to close this because we don't need it anymore. So if we look at the code, where is it? Where's the code? So I'm going to search it in here. So while, where's the code? Why is it not finding it? So, sorry, it has a space in here. So while this is not true, sorry, this is true. Well, while this doesn't exist, let's do this. And it's going to wait in here for the next, event that is being sent from our server, okay? So it's going to wait in here, okay? And the other thing that I just wanted to make sure is, before continuing with the code, is that if I'm going to generate in here a new request using the same YouTube video, and I'm going to make convert it to blog post, but I want to just make sure that this request is being closed when the generated content is ready. So for example, right now we can see a caution tag that's saying us that the request has not finished yet. So I just want to make sure that this is going to close when the content is generated. So we're going to wait a little bit. I'm going to get a notification in here that the content has been generated, and that's when this should change, if everything's working, that the request has been closed. And I want to be sure that the request is being closed because that is important to have good code, and that your application is not adding trash to the user in this case. For example, if we had I don't know, a lot of requests, unfinished requests, well, that means that something is not working correctly in the code, and that is a potential place for when the bugs can show. So now you can see that this changed, it was updated, so it's telling us that the request has been fulfilled, the promises has been fulfilled, and the request has closed. And because we don't have the tag anymore, okay? So we can see the headers and the payload, just to be sure that this is where is it? This has closed, okay? So that's what I wanted to just like some quick house cleaning. So just leave me a moment. I'm just going to we already work on this. Just want to tell my notes that we already saw this, so I don't forget anything that I want to do in this session. Okay, so now if we go to the loops that we were working in the previous session, that are these ones, it's this one and this one. There's an issue with this code, with this snippet. The issue is if everything works okay, like if there's no error and like there's no lag, like everything just works, well, there's not going to be any issue with this code. There shouldn't be. But the issue with this is that this is a while loop, so while true loop. So if anything goes wrong, this can go inside an infinite loop. So let's suppose that there's an error in here, like something's wrong with the code, like with this request, and this starts being true always, and there's no, like you can see that there's no break in here. There's no way for the code to get out of this loop, so it's just going to start making the while loop one time, and then the next time, and then another loop, and then another loop, infinitely. So that is not, there's no way for the code to get out of the loop if there's an error. So there's, and I remember about this when I was, after we closed the session, the plus session, and it's called the power of 10. So these are some rules that were used by NASA to develop reliable software. And one of the, so there are 10, these are the 10 rules. And now, today I want to focus on the second rule, that all loops must have fixed bounds. This prevents runaway code. So what does this mean? So for example, in this, I'm just expecting to this, for this loop to run one loop before it before this gets to being true, and then it should get out of this loop. Okay, so this is going to be, so this is going to get the this value. So this is going to be a truthy value, and so this is going to make it false. So while false, so it's not going to enter the loop, and it's going to get out because it's not true. But I want to add a counter to add this upper bound code, fixed upper bound code. In here, it's telling that all loops must have fixed bounds. So if this is a it can be an upper bound or an lower bound. In my case, I need to add an upper bound because this is going to start, because we don't have, there can be other cases when you need a lower bounded loop. So for example, when you are expecting a loop to run, for example, I don't know, like n times, like for example 100 times, and for a reason or another, it gets out of the loop before those 100 times, well, you need to work on that. In my case, in the case of this code, it is a fixed upper bound. So I'm going to add in here this fixed upper bound. So how are we going to do this? So we are going to add a counter. So I can do this so I'm going to add this in here. So I'm going to add it as fixed, let fix upper, fixed upper bound, fixed upper bound, okay? This can be a fixed upper bound, that could be the name, but to be honest, this could be just an I, just like a counter. I want to be more explicit with my code, so that's why I'm going to change the name to fixed upper bound. So it's going to be 0, and in here, if you saw it, it's adding this. It's already adding something to my code that it thinks that it's that we need. So I can add this in here. So for example, I can add something in here. So for example, I can add an if the fixed upper bound is less than 10, add this. Oh, okay. So I don't need this, and I'm going to move this in here, and I'm going to add in here a break. Okay. So I can add a break and to make it continue with the next lines, but to be honest, I don't want that. I'm going to return a value, like not a value, but return. Why? Because if there's an error in here, it's probably going to get another error in here, and since I'm not sure that the video transcript was obtained, that's why I cannot break the while loop and just tell the user that their video transcript has been obtained, because well, maybe it's not true. So maybe there was an error with the video transcript being to generating it or obtaining it from the database. So that's why if there was an error with that, I cannot tell the user that their video transcript was generated when maybe it wasn't. So we are not going to break from the loop. I want to return something and just add an error to the logs. Okay, so in here I'm going to, so I can just, no, this is not what I'm going to do. So in here I'm going to add, to move this in here. So it's going to be a fixed upper bound plus plus. This means that the fixed upper bound is going to get, with each loop, it's going to be added, it's going to add one, one, it's going to add one to the variable. Okay, so in here I can let it with 10, maybe I can be 100. So there are rules for this. So for example, this is really summarized, but in here there's a white paper where it is explained exactly how this should work. So it's talking about statistics like to be taken into account in here. In this case, I'm not going to go into that detail. I think it's an overkill, but I'm going to leave it at 100. So if this runs 100 times, this loop, there's something wrong with the code, because to be honest, I'm just expecting it to be solved in the first round, like with one loop. The second one should take you out of the loop. Okay, and then I'm going to make the fixed upper bound again be 0, and then add it in here again. So no, so not like this. So I need to add fixed upper bound 1 1, and in here return. Okay, so let's make a way to see if this is working. I'm going to need to find a way to make this fail. So how can we make it fail? So I'm going to I'm just going to code to comment this out. So I'm going to comment this. So it's going to be an infinite loop because there's not an await in here. So it's just going to be going into the loop and then getting out, and then sorry, not getting out, just looping through the loop, going to each one of the loops and getting into it, and then it should return nothing after 100. So that's when this should close. So I'm going to add in here that something like out of while, like this. Okay, so we shouldn't see this in the code, like in here. And this is not finished. We still need to do some things in here. We need to log the error just to know that there was an error in here, and we can analyze why was the error generated. Okay, so let's run this. So I'm running this in my local host. I'm just going to rerun it to make sure that everything's working, and let's wait for this to start. So let's go to professional, not professional, so for SEO, and let's see the console. So we are in here. I'm expecting to show me the numbers from 1 to 100. Maybe let's see. Yes, 1 to 100. Sorry, not maybe 1299, not 100. And then we should not see this text. So let's run it. Okay, so it's 1. So it stopped. So why did it stop? So there's something that's making this. Okay, so let's console log reader stream. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so we are going to change this to for SEO. Convert. Okay, so what's happening here? Let's add a console login here. Returning. So for SEO, converted log. Okay, so it's returning. Oh, got it. So this is wrong. So this should be like this. Sorry for that. So we should. That's the issue when you are just like blindly relying on. I mean, I should have known better in here, but when you are just blindly relying on the autocomplete or in any AI. So let's reload this and let's see. So let's convert this to for SEO and let's convert. So in here you can see how we have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 101. And why 101? Because this should be bigger, greater than 100. So 100 is not greater than 100. So it goes into another loop, and then that's when it returns the value. Okay. So what it is working, that this is that we are only going, like, if there's an error with the code, and it's not going to go into an infinite loop. It's just going to run 100 times. Like, it's not a lot. Like, it's really little. Like, it's small. And we are not going to get into the other parts of the code. But maybe it is going to continue in our backend, because the backend is not using a while loop. It's a normal flow of content of a request. And so, for example, in here we are just working with this. Okay, so so we know now that this is working. I just want to make sure that how can we do this? So I'm just going to remove this, just to make sure that the second one is also working. So this is we are just going to use break, and in here I'm going to add something like console log out of while 2, of while loop, of second while loop, and so we should see this. This, it's not an issue. So now, okay, so now we are going to see if the second while loop it's working. So like this, let's convert. So we are out of while, and then we have 1 and 2. So what does this mean? So why is okay? So we are waiting in here, this using this request. So I'm going to comment this out. Let's try it again. So as you can see, we got out of the first while loop, and then we got into the second one, and then in the second one we also got out of it with this return and with this return. and we didn't got into this, so that's good. That is what I was expecting, and that is what I wanted to happen. So I'm just going to remove this console log, and this is a way for me to visual. I'm like really visual, so I like to visualize like all of like when I'm developing what's happening inside my loops and in my code. So when is every trigger being I don't know how to say it, but being activated, and that's how I can better understand my code. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this. What else could we do? So in here, it's being run 101 times if I'm not having any. So it's running one time and then 101 times. So in here I could change it to be, I don't know, greater than or equal to. That could be a way. Or I can change this to be 99 if I wanted to run for 100 times. What else? Maybe I can do yes, we can do 100. So let's like this. Let me think if it's the best way. So there are other ways for me to do this. So for example, I can do if this is less than 100, we can do something like do nothing. So something like this. Else. So yes. So if it is less than 100, continue. Else, return. Okay. So let's see how does this work. How does this looks in here? Just to understand exactly what's happening. Okay. So now it's a little bit different. As you can see, it ran one time, and then it ran 100 times. So now because we have it, 100 is not less than 100. So we got into this else loop. And now we are returning with just 100 loops, not 101. So it's just a little bit of to be comfortable with what's happening with the code. Yes. So for example, I think I could do it something like this to make it. I don't know if this should be like that. So now I think this should be in here, just to don't have those if else, just the if, so to make it shorter. So let's the code shorter. So maybe this could work. Okay, so yeah, it's still working. We are running it just 100 loops. Okay, so now we can be like this. And in here I'm going to remove this. I don't want it. I don't want this, and we can remove that this commented out code. Yes. So just a moment. Okay. Got it. So and I can do the same in here. I'm going to do it in a moment. But look, it's telling me that I can change it to this. Maybe it's a little bit easier to understand. And maybe I should do it like that, just to make it easier to understand. I'm going to make it like this. This is way easier to understand than what I was making, because it's more direct. The other one was the negative value of the the statement, of the conditional statement. So maybe this is better, and it's just keeping in mind that it's going to run 101 times instead of 100 times. There's no issue with that for me. So what else? What else in here that I wanted to be sure to oh, okay. So if we go in Wikipedia, we have that all loops must have fixed bounds. This prevents runaway code. There's no more detail in Wikipedia, but if we go to the white paper, it is telling us more things. So for example, when the loop exceeds the upper bound, it must trigger an assertion failure, and the function containing the failing iteration should return an error. So what I can do in here is yes, return an error. So let's see. So I'm going to change this to, let's ask the AI. So for example, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to say something like return an error, something like this. And we are going to apply this. Let's see what changes does it make. So why it didn't make any changes. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in here. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to add in here. Okay, so I don't know if this is required, so I want to so let's see, let's remove this just to see what's going on, and I'm going to console log the fixed upper bound. Okay, so let's see. So this is the code right now. I'm going to run it again. Sorry, the server, and let's go to in here. Okay, so let's reload it, and let's see in here for SEO. Okay, so yes, so we have it 1, 2, 3 all the way up to 101. We already talked about that, and this is telling me that an error occurred. Obviously, we are not giving more details in here. Maybe we should add more details, but I just wanted to add an error in here. And in here, let's see if this is returning an error in my server. Okay, so it's not returning an error. So I would like to log the error in my server, but I don't know if that's the best. If there's an error in here, maybe it's also going to generate an error when sending another request to my server to log the error. So in here, I could add something like, there was an error getting the video transcript, and this is returning. So yes, this is okay. So in here, if there's a question about something, so for example, right now I just want to ask like, does something like, I want to add this to the context. So that's Control-Shift-L, and it added this line to my context. So now I want to ask, does this return, does this returns the function? Let's ask this. Okay, so yes, so maybe I asked it in a wrong way. So is this going, And this is how I usually use the AI. So yes, it can do the work for you, but you also need to know what's going on with your code. And I usually ask when I have doubt about anything, out of curiosity and to really understand the code, I start to ask to work with with the AI directly in the context of my code. So is this going to close the function? So okay, so yes, it immediately stops the execution of the current function and propagates the error up the call stack unless it is caught by a try-catch block. So this is not inside a try-catch block. Oh yeah, so it's inside a try-catch. So let's see. Okay. Oh, okay, so yes. So let's see. If this line is inside a function and there is no try-catch block within the same to handler, then yes, it will affect. Okay. And I'm going to say to here, yes, please read more lines in my to determine, like this, just like this. So in here, I just want to see what was generated. Okay, so as you can see, it was the error was thrown, and it's showing it in here. And but I'm not. I don't know why is this. Oh, okay. So let's see. Oh, got it. So for example, if I run this again and we go to for SEO and we convert to locus. Okay, so yes, this try-catch block, when there's an error inside this part of the code, this is the code that's going to be running. So it's going to console log the error. So the error that we are throwing inside in here. So where's the error? So it's throwing, this is the error that's being thrown, and then it's console logging it. And then, so it's console.error, so that is what it makes. So that's why this color is red, because it is an error, okay? And we are logging it as an error. And then it's not rendering the notification, this notification, the one that we saw in here. And then it's doing this, it's running this function, it's running this, and it's running this. Okay, so yes. Okay, so yeah, that's what exactly what I just was just mentioning. Okay, so let's. I like how that is working. I just want to be a little bit more specific with the error. So there was an error getting the video transcript. So something like, yes, I can leave it like this. And in here, I can do something like this. There was an error generating the content, okay? So in here, I could send a request to my server just to be sure, like, I want to log those errors in my server so that I can analyze them in the back end, like understand what's happening in the front end. with my code, like the errors that it's generating, but to sending those errors to the backend so that I can analyze it later on. Okay, so in here I'm going to add the thing is that if there's an error, maybe this is also going to generate an error, but let's do it. So I'm going to await. Nah, this is not what I want to do. So it's going to be await fetch. Okay, so let's work on this. So let's see the roots. So I'm going to save everything as we have it right now, because I'm already I feel good with what we have right now, and then we're going to add more to it. Okay, so I'm going to commit this. So let's so what we are doing basically is change the while loop. I don't know, statement or conditional or evaluation. I don't know how to say it. Evaluation. We added the completed notification, and we added upper bound, added fixed upper bound for the while true loops. Okay, so let's commit this and let's sync it. Okay, so now I have that because it's something that I wanted to I feel good with how it's working, but I want to add more things, and that's exactly what we are going to continue with. So let's okay, so in here I'm going to add an await, and first I'm going to add let's open the roots file. So roots, okay, and I'm going to close this. So okay, roots for authenticated users, instructions manage, okay, and then login, payment roots, so roots for all users. So we are going to need to change this so that the only users that can generate so that the only the users that are authenticated can generate can use the platform, those roots. So I'm going to add that as a node. That I need to change the generate content roots so that only authenticated users can use them. Right? So there are different ways we can do it. So I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment, and we're going to work on that in the future. Okay, so we should also work on these ones. So these ones should be only for yes, this should be for in this. Also, the roots, the reset password roots should be used just by guest users. Okay. What else? Okay, so we are going to add in here. Yes, in here, I'm going to add something like log errors manage. So it's not going to be manage, so it's going to be something like so it can be something like API. Yes, we're going to manage it in the API. v1 log error. So in here I have something called contents controller. I think we have an API controller, or let's see what controllers do I have. So controllers, API controllers, sorry. So I need to add this in here. So I think this one's not being used. Video not found. Okay, I don't know if this one's being used. I need to check that, but I'm going to do that later. I'm going to add, okay. So I'm going to add the API. Okay, so yes, I have it in here. This is I'm importing the API controller. And what's the error? So it's telling me that, oh, okay. So let's go to the API controller file. API controller, okay. Okay, so this endpoint is not active. I can delete this, or I can delete it just to be sure that I'm not just that we are not just having trash in our code. We want clean code, so it's not being used, let's delete it. We are not using it, let's keep our code clean. So I'm going to log this. Okay, so we have an error, and I'm going to show it in here, and let's see. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to log it to the app.log. We're going to check it in a moment, or if it's going to do it just in the terminal, in the server, in this window. Okay, so I don't want it in this window because this can be easily deleted if we restart it or something. I wanted to add it to the error logs file, okay, that we can use different files. I'm going to show you in a moment what file that we are using. Okay, so in here I want to, okay, so now I'm going to use await. Okay, this is what I want to do. I think I just need to add this. Okay, in here I can add more information. We are already going to have the user because this root can only be accessed via an authenticated user, so we are going to have that information. But I can also add the time that this error was generated, and that is going to give me an idea of where should I need to look to find what's generating the error. Okay. So in here I can send something like I can send something like while loop for video transcript, for getting video transcript, went over 100 iterations, something like this. Okay, so a little bit more information for the administrator. Okay, in this case, me. Okay, so now, so what can I do now? Okay, so let's see. Let's restart the server and let's make this fail again. So I'm going to comment this out. Okay, so we're going to go into this error. Okay, so let's reload the website, and we don't have those errors right now. These are other errors, and we're going to do this for SEO. Okay, so we are running from 1 to 101 loops, and it's telling me that there was an error getting the video transcript. So this text that I have in here, it's the text that I have in here. This is the the client-facing error that I'm showing to the user. Okay, but this should be run. Okay, so yes, I'm getting this message in the terminal. Okay, but this is not being logged in my log files. So I have this, and I don't have anything here. So I want to log it to the file because it's more persistent than the terminal. That the terminal can be a little bit more ephemeral. If I just close this and I run it again, well, I don't have the history in here for those errors, for those logs. Okay, so that's why I want to log it to the file. So, and we also have like a file in the server, so it's going to still work in the server. So let's reload this, and in my endpoint, that it's this one. So I'm going to, okay, so this is my endpoint. I don't want to just console log it. Actually, I don't want to console log it. I want to save the error to the app.log file. So let's see what can I do this. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to work, to be honest. Let's see. Okay, so file, okay. So how can we do this? Let's see. Let's see every place where I have log. Okay. So, okay, so it's, so I want to see the environment variable for this. I don't know if it's in an environment variable. Just a moment. I cannot show you that file because it has the secrets. So let me open it. Okay, so yes, logpad. Okay. So that the log file, it's in, so if I open the environment.ts, the log file, it's this one. So this says log path. It's actually the log file, but I decided to use the log path variable name because it's exactly where I want to log to make the logs to log whatever I want to log. So that's exactly where I want it to be logged. Okay, so that's why I use that name. So let's tell the AI to log it, to add the error to this file, to the file. Let's see if it understands it. Okay. So why is it telling me this is an error? So I want to do this, fix in chat. This is another way to do it. So I'm going to make a new chat, okay? And I'm going to add this. Okay, so fix in chat. Let's send it. Okay. Start. So I think I would like this to make it like this. And let's see if this is adding the error. So I don't want to show it in the front screen, in the terminal, sorry. Let's run it like this and let's reload this. Okay, so for SEO, okay, so we are showing the error in here, the error in here in the notification, and we don't have any error in here, at least not the one that it's being generated. But let's see if it's being saved in my app.log. Okay, so yes, I'm logging this. I want to log it with more information. Okay, so let's add more information in here. So let's go to the API controller and let's add more information in here. So for example, I can add something like error, okay. I can add more information in here, like for example, user ID, and timestamp. Yes, like this. Okay, so let's see if this adds the information. So let's do it like this. Okay, let's see my log file. Okay, so now we have error. The while loop was over 100 iterations. This is the user ID. And the timestamp, it's okay. So yes, I want this to be UTC time, that it's the server time. Okay. So okay, so it is working. That is like I want to have it. Later on I can do more things, but let's continue working on more stuff. Okay, so I'm going to save to commit this, and I'm okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm not committing. Okay, and okay, so I need to change this. This shouldn't be comment. Okay, and PI controller. Okay, so yes, it's working. And I just want to do this for the other for this. Okay. I'm going to add in here something like, please contact support, something like this, so that the user know if they're analyzing the error, they can see that they can contact us, so that we can help them with the error. Okay. Okay, so yes, I like how it's looking. So let's save this. So I'm going to save this as login error to log file. Let's sync the changes. Okay. So what else do I want to do right now? So what did we just make? So right now we work on this rule. So we gave the loops, the while loops, a fixed upper bound. We assign it a random number, 100 loops. If it goes over 100 loops, something is wrong, and it's going to generate an error. We're going to show the error to the user, not show the error, but tell the user that there was an error, and that they can contact support to check the error for them. And we are also logging the error to our log file, so that we can further analyze what's going on in here. Okay, so I'm just going to close this, and now if I run this again, there shouldn't be an error, because I already this should be working. But I'm going to just run it. So okay, so look, it is generating logs in here. Let's see. Okay, yes, okay, so let's generate it for SEO, and let's convert this to a blog post. Okay, so in the meantime, as you can see, it's generating the blog post. Let's wait around a minute that it's going to take for this to be generated. So let's wait. Okay, so it's not logging this request. I just want to see if it's adding that. Okay, so copy HTML. Okay, so if I open this, it is going to open the previous one. Okay, that it start, of course. Here's a blog post based on the movie. Okay, so okay, so in here I'm just seeing it as HTML. I need to be able to see it in HTML, but also as text. So for example, if I click in here HTML, it's going to show me the HTML tags. And And if I click in here again, it's going to show it in as text, okay, like as render HTML. So I'm going to reload this, just so that the new one that was just generated, it's this one, okay. So we need to work on this. So okay, so what are we going to be working on this? So as you can see in here, if I go in here, the title that it's being added in here is not really the title of the blog post. It's just getting the first part of the generated content. So I want to get this title to be the title of the blog post, okay? So that it can be shown in here and the user can have a better idea of the blog post that is being shown in there. Okay, so let's work on that. So that is going to be in the contents controller. So I'm going to close this. Okay. So we're using this function. Let's search it. Okay. So let's go to this file, generated content in utils. Okay. So this is the current function that's doing this. Okay. So let's see, how is it working? Okay, so right now this variable is not being used, so I'm going to delete it. And this is getting the title splitting using the first n. So I don't want to do that. I want to, so for example, if I go to the code, this is, and I see it, well, I cannot see it in here, but if we analyze this in here, this is going to be, it should be the first H1, okay? And then we have the H2, that is going to be a smaller heading, or we can use the title. Maybe we can just go with the title, and it is sending me automatically the title instead of just looking for the first H1 or for the first line, okay? So let's work on this. And we can have like fallbacks. So for example, if there's no title, maybe we can get the first H1. If there's no H1, maybe we can get the first H2. If there's no H2, we can get the first H3. And in here we are going to make assumptions, because the AI, it's not deterministic, so it's not going to always send us the same structure. It's going to interpret the request, and there's going to be variation on the request. So that's why we cannot be deterministic. We need to understand that there's going to be some variation. Okay. So let's work on this. Okay. So okay. Yes. Let's now. So I want to say something like, okay, so just in here I want to remove, I think it was removed. Yes. one comment that I had added. So in here, I'm going to add something like get the content inside the title tags. Okay, so let's see what is this doing. So so for example, let me do something like this. If there's no title, return the first line. This is not going to stay like this, but I just want to leave it for the moment. The first line. Okay, so just a moment. Let's see. So yes, this is giving me an error. Let's initialize. Initialize the title variable. So I'm just going to initialize the variable. Initialize variables. Okay. So let title from content. Okay. So what's the error in here? Okay. So I'm going to start a new chat and I want to ask it to fix this for me. This is something common with TypeScript. Yes, apply the changes. Okay. Okay. I think it can be generated like this, but I don't know if that's the way that I want to do it. So first I need to know if this is going to be interpreted as truthy or falsy. So in PHP, there are values that are interpreted as truthy in the sense that if it has text, it's usually considered true. But if it doesn't have text or any other variables, so for example, a 0, it's going to be considered as false, and a 1 is going to be considered as true. But there are differences between JavaScript and PHP in what's considered true and what's considered false. So I'm going to ask to the AI if this is consider consider as truthy or falsy. Let's ask this. Falsy. So it's considered falsy. Okay. Okay. So if I just have this value, it is going to be considered false. Okay. So that is what I wanted. So now, if there was no match with this, I'm going to get the first line, okay? Determined by the first line break. So I'm going to delete this, okay? And so why is my tab not working? Okay. So title from content, it's going to be, so what is this? Okay, so it's telling me that it's going to be just the first 100 characters. I want to analyze the database, so let's describe generated content data table. So generate contents. Okay, so so the title can be up to 255 characters. I'm going to change it to not be 100, but okay. So this is okay. So I want to console log this just to see what's going on. So let's console log the title from content, and I want to be, I'm not going to make it 255 because we're getting to the limit. Maybe 250 or maybe, I don't know, 235, something like that, just to have a little bit of I don't know, space for some variations in there. So okay, so now I'm going to make some changes in here. I'm just going to copy this, the last content that was generated, that was this one. Was this one. So I'm going to copy all the content. Okay, so F12, and it is what it is. It's this one. So let's see, what do I have in here? Okay, so now it's this. Okay, so it's this. So I'm going to copy the element. So now if I paste this in a notepad, so we have I'm going to delete this because, sorry, not everything. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Now, yeah, if I open a new tab, just to see what do I have in here. Okay, so this is what was generated by the AI. Okay, so now I'm going to close this and this, and I'm going to return that value so that we don't have to wait with each request. So if I go to contents controller in here, okay, okay, so I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to modify this to be what I just copied. So I don't know if this is going to, yes, this is going to have some errors. So let's see, how can I do this? Okay, so let's, instead of having this, yes, I think I don't need this. I'm just going to use this. Okay, so why do I have this error? Oh, okay. So, okay, so I want to search for something that can help me in here. So let's go to Google and let's do HTML beautifier remove line breaks. Let's see if this can help me. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I copy this. Let's see if I add it in here. So it should be everything in one line. So let's go to, okay, so I'm just going to paste this. Yes, let's see if there's an error. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this. It's not going to maybe I can do it like this, just so that I don't modify it. So how do I add the inverse? So where is the inverse? Slash. So, okay, just like this. And then let's look for the other one. So I have it in here. This is the other one. Okay. This is the other one. And I'm getting out of battery in my cell phone that it's recording this, but we're going to take it to the limit. And like this. So it has a lot of these ones, so I'm not going to do this for all of them, so I'm just going to delete everything else. We need to continue with this. We need to have the show continue. So I'm just going to do it like this. And so I want to have all the text in one, like to be able to see it. So I'm just going to ask Google again, how to VS Code activate wrap, enable wrap, something like this. Let's see. I'll see. Okay, yes. So we just need to make sure that all of the tags are being closed. So we have the P tag. I'm going to remove this. I don't want to have this. So I need to H1 title. Okay, I think it's all that I have to close. So H2P. Okay, so I'm closing the last P, that is this one. And okay, so let's work on this. Let's go to the here. And this is just so that we can work faster and not be waiting for it to generate a response. Okay, so let's just do it like this. Let's see the console log. Okay, so yes, it was generated. Okay. Okay. So now I want to see if something, okay, yes. So we console log that not a designer, not a problem. So let's see if I reload this, this is going to change. Okay, so now we have a new title, and that is what I wanted to generate, that is how I wanted it to look, to get the title that the AI is sending me. So, but what happens if there's no title tag in the content that the AI is sending me? So in that case, so for example, I'm going to remove it from here. And in here, I just want to see what is this doing. Explain what is this line doing in detail. Okay, let's see what does it tell me. Okay, so, okay, excellent. So it's taking longer than what I expected to. Okay, so now it's doing. So this part of the code is using a regular expressions to remove all HTML tags from the title from content string. Okay. Okay. Okay, excellent. So it's a regular expression that is going to remove all the HTML tags from the title from content. So now we were getting everything that was between the title tags. So then we are removing them. And it's doing it global, like not just the first one, but all of the times that it's, according to this, that it's finding this pattern of HTML tags. Okay, so yes. So then we are trimming it. We are removing the how is this calling it? The white spaces from the beginning and from the end. Of if there was any, that there shouldn't be, but it's not. It's good to have it. And then we are getting a substring from the title if it's greater than 235 characters. It's going to delete the extra characters. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so let's continue with this. I just need to answer a message. So so now we need to work on this. So for example, I'm going to remove this console log. And if the title from content doesn't match anything, I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to console log, not title found in content, just right now because I want to make some tests. And in here, I'm going to get the first, not title, but between H1s. Okay, so now we are making the assumption that the first H1 in the content is going to be the title of the content. Okay, So now we can add an else if. Does this exist in JavaScript? Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is going to be not no h1. Okay, let's see how does this work. Okay, so maybe in here we can make a loop so that it searches for title first, then for h1, then for h2, and maybe we can work on that. For right now, we need to make it work, and then we can optimize this code and make it follow best practices. Okay, so let's remove from here that title, and we're going to go with the h1. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's save this, and now the h1 it's going to be not a designer, no problem. Okay, so before we had no problem how I use AI to build beautiful websites. So in here I'm just going to add h1 like this, so that we know that it is getting the h1. Okay, so I'm going to remove the title, and we are going to run this again. So look how this is telling me that this is not telling me that this is h1. So let's see if now it's going to get the h1. Okay, so if we reload this, we have the h1. So yes, it's getting the h1. Okay, and if we look at the terminal, we're going to see the no title found in content, and then we can go with the h2. So if I remove the h1, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to go with the, I think there's an h2. Okay, yes. So in here I'm going to add h2 like this. So let's run it again. Okay, so now if I reload this should tell me that, okay, so it's not working. So that's what I wanted to see. So let's see what's going on in here. Okay, so why is it not happening here? Let's see what's going on in here. Let's save this, and let's reload this. Okay, so let's do in Mr. Beast style. Let's reload this. Okay, so it's not getting it, and it's telling me not title found in content. So there's something wrong happening here. So okay, so let me, okay, h1. Okay, so there's no h1, h2. Okay, so yes, it should get it. Let's analyze this. Okay, so let's see the terminal. Let's ask it again. h1. So why is it not getting the h2? Maybe this doesn't exist here. Let's ask the AI. Does else if exist in JavaScript. Let's, okay. Oh, I know what's going on. Yes, sorry. That was a noob mistake. So it's going inside this, and then since it went inside this, well, it's not getting going inside the other block. So how can we do it? We can do, I don't want to do it like this, but we're going to do it right now. So it's going to go in here several times. Wait, so let's run this. Okay. So in the terminal, I'm seeing no title found in content and no h1 found in content. So it's going inside this loop and it's getting the h2. So now let's reload this, and now we have the h2. Okay. So so what can we do? So I want to improve this, and I can improve it with a loop. Okay, so, and it's also going to be a while loop. Okay, so I'm going to do an array. It's going to be a constant array. Like tags to search to check. Okay, this is h2, h3, h6, and then, okay, so I'm going to tab. Okay, so now in here we are going to loop. Okay, that's exactly what I want to do. So look how it changed all of these ifs using title and then h1 and then h2. Every time that you see some like code that is being repeated, you can change it to a loop. And sometimes like it doesn't sometimes it doesn't make any sense to do it, but in this case, I think it does make sense. So let's do it like this, and let's see if it's correct. So I'm just verifying that it looks correct. Okay, so let's see. Title, no, not title. There was no match. There was no match. Okay, so okay, like this. Okay, so I want to delete all of this. Okay, so yes, this is not a while loop. So this is a for loop, and it's just going to loop through these options. Okay, so I'm going to do this and delete this, because so now I'm going to do okay. So if it is different from this, it means that there was a match for this tag. Okay, so I'm going to console log it. So let's reload this, and let's do this. So now if I go to the terminal, it's it's telling me that there was no match. Why? Oh, okay, so in here I need to delete this because those tags are already in here. Okay, so let's run it again, and let's do the same for SEO. Okay, let's see the terminal. Okay, so it's telling me that there was a match for the H2 tag. Okay, so now if I go in here, we can see that yes, we have an H2 in here. Okay, so the title should have H2 in here, so we have it. So now let's add to when there was an H1. So now H1, and if we run it again, now we should have the H1 title. And if we do it with the title, like this, and we run it again, we should have the title in here. Okay, so we have the title. You can see that there's no H1 in here like in this one. So I'm going to delete this. And if there was no title, let's get the first. Get the first line of content like this. Okay, just to have a title. Okay, we're going to delete this and we're going to save it. So now I'm going to delete this. We don't need it anymore. And I'm going to delete that. Delete this from this so that it's continue working, and I'm going to remove the wrapping, the word wrapping, and now this should work. So let's reload this. Let's ask for a new blog post. It's going to generate it. It's going to take longer because it's using the AI to generate it, and that is going to be like when this finishes, if everything goes okay, it's going to be all for today. So that will be everything for today, if that works. I mean, there are a lot of other things that I want to work on, like some buttons and some formatting and those things. Adding buttons, functionality, making sure that they work, but that is going to be all for today. So just let's see if, let's wait for this to end. And hopefully it's going to work. Okay, so let's see. It looks like it has the same, yes. So it got this. Let's see the content. So let's see if it got it from the, so it got it from the title. So we can verify this. If we go to the database, to our local database, let's select ID, title, from generated contents, order by ID, descending, limit. So that this is going to give us just the last generated content. Okay, so it's, look how it's giving me, not a designer, how I use AI to build beautiful websites. So it's just giving me this. It's not giving me all of this, like all of the H1. So that means that it's getting the title. Okay, not the H1, and that was determined by this this array. Okay, so I'm just going to commit the changes. I want to make sure that the changes that I'm adding are correct. So it looks good, and let's commit this. So getting the title for the generated content. Okay, and let's sync the changes. So that's everything for this session. Thank you very much for being in here with me. If I can help you in anything, please let me know. Just send me a message, leave me a comment. Or just get in touch however you want. And I'm going to see you on the next session.